To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Before I get started today, I want to apologize that I have to do this from my vehicle. Quite frankly, just too embarrassed to do video in the camper with Carolyn inside because it's just hard for me to make videos in front of Carolyn. Apparently, Missouri has 3 seasons, not 4, 3. And the seasons are hot, cold, and rain. And right now we're in the rain season. But as a result of all the rain, I can't really show you anything or do anything today, so I thought I would spend some time answering some questions. Okay, the next question I got was solar panels. There's lots of solar panels, and it's hard to explain everything that you need to know, and it's hard to explain everything that I've done. Now, I told you a while back that when it gets really hot outside, solar panels are not as efficient as they are in cooler climates. They lose about 10% efficiency for every 10 degrees over 77. So when we're talking wattage, and I understand amps and volts, but if you multiply volts times amps, that's how many watts that your panels produce. So what happens is the heat drops the voltage. So if I was making 18 volts, for example, and I drop down to 17 volts, so instead of 18 times 10 amps, I'm getting 17 times 10 amps. So the wattage is decreasing. So it's making it difficult for me to run my air conditioner when it's really hot outside. So I've been running my generator. Right now, my solar panels are laying on the ground. A lot of people said I need to raise them up off the ground so it gets more air and keeps them cooler. Well, I've tested this a lot. I mean, I did like a 5-day test. And on the ground, I can get the solar panels to maintain 10 to 15 degrees temperature cooler than raised up. Because what I think is happening is the ground temperature is actually pretty cool underneath there. And so that ground temperature is kind of keeping everything cooler. That's just my guess. I don't know why, but it is much cooler. The other reason I'm laying flat on the ground is right now the sun is high up in the skies. July, it's right above the solar panels. The further south the sun goes, as winter approaches, the sun will go further south and then come back up north and back south. And so you got to maintain that angle so the solar panels are in direct sunlight. The biggest reason you want to do this isn't for sunny days. Sunny days is not the issue. It's cloudy days. So when it's laying on the ground, if I had an angle right now, with it being so cloudy and rainy, I wouldn't get as much wattage as I do with them laying flat on the ground. It's the cloudy days that you got to worry about with solar panels, not sunny days. Sunny days, you're going to charge your batteries up within a couple hours and it's going to be fine. But it may take all day for the solar panels to charge the batteries up on a cloudy day. So when you do your solar panels, make sure you're considering the cloudy days. A common theme on my YouTube channel is insurance. What do you do for insurance? What do you do for insurance? And when I first started the YouTube channel, I didn't know how to handle the commenters very well. I was still new at it, and I answered the insurance question one time. And boy, I decided then I was never going to do another insurance question. It was just too controversial. Everybody has their opinions about insurance. And then I got to thinking about it. Wait a minute. This is my lifestyle, and I'm not hurting anybody by what I do with insurance. So I have answered the question. I actually went in quite a bit detail about insurance, not that too long ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And I talked about every type of insurance that you can have. And before I tell you what I do with my insurance, I'm going to tell you what you should do with your insurance. If you have to have medical insurance, I think specifically health insurance is the main question I've been getting. You need to keep your health insurance. I've never suggested that you don't need to work when you live off grid. I don't know where this concept is. If you have a job and you have insurance at that job, you need to keep the job if you need insurance. I have a job. I actually have 2 jobs. The nice thing is I can do my job on my property. I'm self-employed. And so that kind of changes everything. I can come outside. I can work a little bit in the morning when it's hot. I can go in the house and work. I can work at night on my computer. So there's a lot of flexibility being self-employed. But I think that if you're going to change your lifestyle, you need money and you need health insurance, you got to stick with it. Now, what do I do for health insurance? I am not a big fan of doctors. Never have been. 2 people that I know had cancer, and both of them died as a result of their cancer. Now, the doctors, we spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to increase their life, to give them more of a lifespan. So while they're getting their treatments, they're in miserable pain. You spend tons of hours getting all this treatment, and they died anyways. And I've just never been a big fan of doctors. I get it that a lot of people have a lot of faith in doctors, but I don't. My grandpa was a naturalist. He was a chiropractor and a naturalist. And he taught my father, who has taught me a great deal about naturalist remedies. My grandpa, whether you want to believe me or not, and it really doesn't matter if you believe me, I believe me. And that's the important thing, is I believe me. My grandpa has helped people through cancer using naturalist remedies. Grandpa himself had cancer. He treated himself, died an old man. My grandma had cancer, and again, she died a very old lady. My ex-wife had a huge tumor on her face, and it's going to be lots of money and lots of surgery. I said, why don't we try the natural remedies first? And so she took the natural remedies, I think for a month, maybe 2, and went away. Didn't have any problems with it. We had a dog that had a tumor. Again, gave it the natural remedies. Tumor went away. I feel that taking care of ourselves naturally is the way I want to do things. Now, the other thing is I have an emergency fund. So I self-insure. You got to weigh the liabilities is what you got to do. For example, the automobile insurance. Am I willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars if I injure someone in a car accident? Because, you got to pay for their damages. And the answer is no, I can't afford that kind. So I do pay an insurance company to cover me on that. But I don't pay health insurance for one reason. I've been to the hospital one time in my life, just once. It cost $2,000. You negotiate the price. You can pay, if you got the emergency fund, you can pay them right out, or you can just pay them payments. Now, yes, I know that doesn't take care of catastrophic things. I'm still under the impression that if it's catastrophic, you're going to die anyways. Cancer is a killer. It's just what it is. And doctors, in my opinion, really don't help that much based on my experience. I have gone to emergency care. One, I had a really bad allergic reaction to something. It lasted for about a month. The first time they gave me medication, made my ankle swell up, but it didn't do anything as far as the rash. Nothing. Went back the second time, and they treated me for scabies. I didn't have scabies. I know I didn't have scabies, but I took the medication and did everything they told me to do. Nothing. So I spent all this money on treatments that were ineffective. I ended up researching myself what was causing my problem, and what I figured out was I got mold poisoning. I looked into that, figured out what I needed to do for that, and I have not had an issue with allergic reactions since. I've made a series of videos about our happiness. Carolyn and I have just been overly happy. Living out here by ourselves, not being bothered anybody, having limited contact with government institutions, having to deal with people. It has just been phenomenally easy going for us. I've gotten a lot of people who think that I'm incorrect on this. And again, I think it comes back to personality. Carolyn and I are introverts through and through. I understand that a lot of extroverts have a real problem with introverts. They think there's something wrong with us. I get this a lot. The scientists have proven that humans have to be around people. Well, there's a big subject right there. Scientists have proven. Which scientists? The scientists that are encouraging you to be an extrovert, or is it scientists that are saying that introverts are okay? Because I've looked at other data that says introverts have a lot to contribute to society. So if you're extroverted and you're living in a city and that makes you happy, then of course that's where you're supposed to be. And finally, I have one last question, and I've answered this one a lot. My husband doesn't want to do the lifestyle. How can I talk my husband into it? Well, the answer is you can't. In my mind, if you're married and you've been married for a long time or even a short period of time, you kind of signed a contract with your spouse that these are the terms that I agree to. And for a spouse to tell the other spouse, well, in order for you to continue to make me happy, you have to go and completely change your life. I recognize that I came into this marriage saying that, yeah, we want to be hard workers and all this, but I've changed my mind, so that means you have to change your mind. I'm not a big fan of that. You came into the marriage, and that's who he was. Carolyn and I met, and we had the same personality. We wanted to escape. And so we came into our relationship understanding that we were going to go do something and get away from it all. Now, with my last wife, there was no way I would do this. Absolutely no way. And I would have never asked her to do it. Now, I don't have the answer to convince somebody to change their mind because I just don't believe that's what you go into a marriage for. Is I'm going to marry you so you can change. So I hope I can inspire you to live your dreams and still be happy in your marriage. Thanks for watching.